The Arcturian Group. Christ Consciousness. Channel, Marilyn Raphael. Welcome, dear readers. You are entering into a season during which much of the world celebrates the birth of the Master Teacher Jesus. It is important to remember that the Christmas story is every person's story and not just that of one man. The Christ, light of spiritual consciousness, can only be born into a consciousness emptied. The stable, of personal ego and beliefs based in duality, separation and two powers. Because this state of consciousness is already full, the higher frequencies of the real self cannot flow. There is no room at the inn. The early days of every sincere spiritual journey usually includes a period of personal setbacks and problems that may manifest physically, emotionally, mentally, or even spiritually. Because the higher frequencies of Christ consciousness cannot align with a consciousness already filled with lower resonating energy. The clearings begin, often serving to dismantle the seeker's three-dimensional belief system. This is what is meant by the dark night of the soul. This period can be extremely painful as the seeker watches many of the beliefs he or she has built their life on crumble. However, it is always temporary if not resisted, because once the false concept of something is eliminated, its reality can begin to manifest. The clearing out of all that is old and false is necessary for moving to the next step of the evolutionary journey. Every person experiences their own personal clearing process based on their state of consciousness and energies needing to clear. Never feel that somehow you have failed if all hell seems to break loose in your life. Consider every experience, regardless of how difficult or devastating, as a graduation, because these experiences serve to move you out of and beyond a state of consciousness you have outgrown. Many of the energies now clearing were added to over lifetimes and have become firmly established in your belief system, making them difficult to release because they are familiar even when recognized as being old energy. Allow the process, dear ones, always trusting that your higher self, the you that has never forgotten oneness, is in charge, and not the personal ego sense of you that believes it must do this or do that in order to be spiritual. You can do all the reading, classes, and activities you feel you need to do in order to more deeply evolve into who and what you now know you are, but it is the higher self that determines your readiness as well as what experiences may be needed to get you there. It may seem as if nothing is happening in your quest for deeper realization, but know that the moment you were ready for and consciously began a search for truth, you consciously or unconsciously stated your intention to spiritually evolve. At this point, the train leaves the station and does not stop until the destination is reached, even when there are stops and bumps along the way or you decide you want to get off. Outer spiritual activities indicate an intention to evolve and are important steps up to a certain point, but there comes a time at which every seeker must move beyond activities designed to bring them closer to God in order to move beyond the sense of separation. These activities represent and into an awareness of self and all life as already one with God. This is the difference between metaphysics and organized religion, separation, and mysticism, oneness. Your work is to rest in an awareness of oneness, trust that you are being guided in every moment, and allow the process. Release all concepts of what spirituality is or must look like. Surrender any remaining beliefs derived from images of saints engulfed in light and with eyes skyward, promoting the idea that they are better, holier, and closer to God than you. It is time to move on from the preachers, experts, articles, and even channels that tell you that you are less than and must be saved. You have never not been saved. No one can avoid the constant inner pull toward deeper awareness, even when or if it is on a three-dimensional level. As an individualization of divine consciousness, every person is automatically drawn to once again experience their wholeness and will seek it in accord with their state of consciousness. Even the murderer believes he is somehow making his life more whole by his actions. Every person is already self-sustained and maintained, whole and complete, cause and effect, abundant, intelligent, harmonious, and infinite, etc. etc. But the density and resulting hypnotism of being in three-dimensional energy blocks this awareness from most. The evolutionary journey is nothing more than the process of getting out of your own way and allowing these already present qualities of Source/God/Divine Consciousness to flow into expression. The Christmas story. Trust is often difficult because humans have been programmed to beliefs of separation throughout their many lifetimes. Almost everyone is born carrying energies of fear, distrust, and separation, causing them to automatically carry a sense of distrust throughout life. When living in three-dimensional energy, it is wise, practical, and necessary to distrust and question situations and individuals, but at the same time, as a spiritually awakened person, it is important to remember that fear and distrust are facets of separation energy. Life lived in three-dimensional energy is not easy and not for the faint-hearted, which is why you who are spiritually evolved were considered strong and brave enough to be a part of and contribute to Earth's ascension process. Not everyone who wanted to be on Earth at this time was allowed to come. You came to clear all remaining old energy for yourself as well as for the world, and by doing so lift Earth's collective consciousness to a new and higher level. You are doing it. The journey gets easier as the long-carried and comfortable old baggage drops away. Issues once considered important start to feel unimportant. You begin leaving behind the do's and don'ts, rights and wrongs, must-dos and must not do, sins and not sin, good and bad. The rules you were taught based in duality, separation, and two powers begin to crumble, and you discover that life becomes easier when you are aligned with reality. You find that without conscious thought you have become more understanding, patient, loving, and kind because you have removed the blocks and opened the door to your own divine consciousness, allowing it to flow as you. Things, events, people, solutions, and situations that are fulfilling and of a high level begin to unexpectedly show up. Things that you could not have asked for because you did not know about them. Fulfillment is the true nature of self. You are, always have been, and always will be divine spiritual being in spite of any and all present or past appearances to the contrary. We are the Arcturian Group.